Okay, so I have logged into the server A now. We have a server, I'm sorry, server D. Server A is up and running and is running Active Directory. Now we need to configure server D. You can see that the same settings, that TCP/IP setting we did for server A, it is exactly the same thing we need to do for server D. So we're going to go to the time, all right? So the first thing we're going to change the time zone, and make sure that you need to make sure that all servers are in exactly the same zones. All right, go into time and zone. I'm going to cancel here. That's not what I want. Change the time zone and Pacific. So I'm going to whatever zone you are, whatever zone you choose, you just make sure all machines are in exactly the same zone, same time, the same zone, same date. If you don't do that, you're going to run into a problem. I can guarantee you that. All right, so we change the time and zone. Now we're going to get into the IP configurations. All right, we're going to assign it an IP address, and if my collection helped me, we were told to use I think 10 IP address 10. So we're going to do 10.0.0.10. All right, subnet mask is 255.255. All right, sometimes my student would ask why we doing this, why we're not using why we chose class A when we give a class C IP address. I usually answer that this is an internal class. This is you can assign it whatever you want as long as you are. And this class is also reserved for inside. You're free to do whatever you want as long as you do that on all your computers. You can't do this on the internet. All right. And remember the DNS. You primary DNS. This is very important. Your primary DNS is your active directory, is your domain controller. So you make sure that 10.0.0.1. If you don't do this, you will not be able to go to internet. You will not be able to join the Active Directory because your computer will use a DNS to find the domain controller in order to join the domain. This we do it if in case you want this machine also to go to internet. So you may do this or any other zone. However, the most important thing is this. All right, we can hit OK over here. We hit close over here. All right, now we're going to change the computer name. And obviously, once we do this, like we said before, it will restart. And we're going to pause it and we'll wait for it to come back. We're going to hit OK. And hit OK again. Hit close. Hit restart. And I'm going to pause it. All right, so we're back. The server has restarted, has a name. We changed the time, the TCP/IP, and also the name. Before we go any further, usually I would like to go and make sure that this server can communicate with the server A. So we're going to do ping 10.0.0.1. We hit enter, and you can see that server D is communicating with server. That's very good. Then if for whatever reason this did not work, you're going to need to troubleshoot. And the first step in troubleshooting is disabling the firewall. Now, the next thing I want to make sure that this server D, is using server A as a DNS. To do that, you type ns lookup, hit enter, and it said 10.0.0.1, and that's what there's more command you can do to further understand what is happening, but there's no need. We just want to make sure that we're talking. Now let's go and join the domain. Now, how do you join the domain? You join the domain, you go into the local server, all right, and you can see this computer D is a member of a work group. So we're going to remove it from the work group, and we're going to put it we're going to add it to a domain. How you do that? You click on the work group, you go into change, you go into domain. I want to say something. It is natural. We do run into problem every now and then when I get this point. And if you get to this point, I will spend if we run into problem, I will spend 2 or 3 minutes trying to troubleshoot in front of you. But if we run into more problem, I will pause it, figure out the solution, and come back and tell you what did work. And I'm hoping we may not run into problem. we need to join the iClinic.local domain. iClinic.local. We're going to hit OK. And it's nice. It did work. All right. We need an account in the Active Directory that will allow us to join the Active Directory. So one that we know is we have administrator. All right. Administrator. Make sure you spell it right. Administrator at iClinic.local. Okay. And the password that we use for that. If this works, it will restart, and it's going to take a little time. So I'm going to pause it again, wait for it to come back, and keep going. Hit OK. If it works, it should say welcome to the iClinic domain. We're going to hit OK. We're going to hit OK. Close. The computer will restart. I will pause it. When it comes back, we'll keep going. All right, server D is back. And remember again, you do not want to type the password here, because if you do this, you'll be logging locally, not to the domain. So that's why you need to click here, switch user, go to others, and instead do administrator at iClinic.local and whatever password you assigned. All right. Then we hit OK. And we're going to log into the domain. Now, what we have done so far, as this is what we have done so far. So we did TCP/IP settings. We installed and configured Active Directory on server A. We repeated the same feature for TCP/IP for server D. We added server D to the Active Directory. Now we need to do exactly the same thing to the PCA. However, I'm going to hold down to the PCA to the last because it's an extra credit. All right, we tested communications. What I want to do around in the server D, I want to install I want to install RAID 5, enable folder and sharings. All right, and then do server Windows 10, the last one. Okay. So you can see now if you click on local server, you can definitely see that server D now has become a member server. We call it a member server of the iClinic. So next thing they want you is create a RAID 5 and enable file and storage chains already here. We're going to do that later. But for now, let's go and do the RAID. There are a couple of ways to go from there. All right, you can do it from here. You can go to, or usually I like to right click and go to disk management from here. All right, once you start disk management, this is the 3 hard drive that we have added during the installation. Now they come up and we need to activate them. We're going to hit OK. I'll maximize this. You can see the 3 hard drive are up and running. All right, disk 1, disk 2, disk 3, and there is no volume and nothing is created. Servers, unlike workstation, support redundant support RAID 5 in addition to RAID 1. Workstation only RAID 1. So I'm going to go ahead and right click and I create RAID 5. To create RAID 5, you need 3 to 32 hard drive. And if you ask me why we do that for speed a lot of time, for speed. So I'm going to go ahead and what is it? It's taking 3 hard drives and combining them to look like single drive. All right, hit RAID, hit next, and we have already a drive. We just need to add this 2 over here and this one again, and we got to hit next. Okay. All the drive will use one single drive letter. Hit next. You can hit the volume. You can change the volume. The default, the best file system, although it does have other file system, the best file system for this lab is an NTFS. However, Windows does support a new and advanced file system right there, which is we're not going to use it now. Right, next, we're going to hit finish and we're going to hit yes. In a second, you can see the drive is created and the color of this will change. Now it's resyncing and is creating. So I'm sorry, we said this for redundancy, right? It takes a little time to do this. As you can see, it's syncing and it takes a little time. Now, if you go into, once it finished, all right, good, it finished. If you go into the File Explorer, and you see there is a D drive over here. You can see a D drive over here, right? A D drive over here. Although it should be 3 gigabytes, we only have 2. The other drive is used for parity. All right, so now what they want us to do, they want you to create a folder on this drive and share it, so departments, a folder for each departments, and share it. We can do it from here, or we can do it from Server Manager. All right, Server Manager, if you come back to here, you can see File and Shared right here. And you can see this is the server that we have. And I know I haven't done it from here. All right, and we're going to go into the server, the disk. All right, so if it sees all the disks. All right, we have one right here. If I don't see it from here, I know sometimes I have to refresh to be able to see it. Which this one here? Sometimes refreshing, may get it back. All right, or create a pool. If we did the pool, we add all the servers. I'm gonna try. Let's see if we can add a pool. All right, so we're back. I give it a restart, and now I can see the drive that I just created. When I was trying, they were not there. All right, for now, we're gonna go into File and Storage Service. All right, and we're gonna create a new share, and that's what they want you to do. If you go up to here to the menu, okay, let's go. I know that's what happened before. It just disappeared now and then. I'll go directly to share. I'll go to shares, new shares, and we'll choose an SMBA shares. All right, click next, and it asks us what drive. Where would you like to create that share? Remember, we want to put it on the E drive, the one that we created using the 3 hard drive. We're going to hit next, and what we're going to call it, and remember we have 3 group or 3 departments. We're going to do that later, and every single department has its own network resources. So we're going to create one, and we're going to call it Doctors Without Borders. We're going to do Doctors. Here's a new share. We're going to hit next. All right, enable access-based enumeration. I'm just going to use that, what do you call it? We don't know encryption, allow cache-ins, all right? This other, all right, this is customize the permissions, but I'll do the permissions later. We hit next, and we hit create. We hit close, okay? Now we have it, but doesn't have any, we didn't assign the permissions. If you want to assign doctors permissions, again, there's multiple way of doing it. We're going to go into Properties. All right, we can go into permissions. We're going to customize permission from here, and we're going to need to add the doctors. As you see, doctors are not here. We're going to add. All right, and we're going to once we add, we're going to click. We're going to select the principals, and we're going to put the doctors here. The doc. We're going to check the name. Doctors are there. We're going to hit OK. And what kind of permissions you want to give the doctor? Well, for this sake of simplicity for this lab, we're just going to give them, they may want to be able to change. So we'll give them, just add right. So we hit OK. We hit apply. And then we hit OK. Then we hit apply. Then we hit OK again. Now, doctor should be able to access this. Again, we can do further. We can do NTFS, and we go into granular settings, but there is no need. This is just if you want to see if this drive is shared for now or not, you can go to run, and a lot of times if you type the UNC path 127.0.0.1 and hit enter, you may be to see it. It's right there and it has nothing in it, but it's up to the doctor to do that. Now you're gonna do the same thing for all the departments and nurses. So we're going to go into here, new share, and do it for the nurses and also for support. But it's up to you, and I'm gonna let you do that. I'm just showing you what you need to do. All right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pause this. I'm gonna stop here, Now I'm gonna move on to what you call the optionals or the extra credit, which is adding a Windows 10 to the network, to the domain, and log in and have one of the doctor log in locally, right? Log in locally and accessing the shared resources.